for stopping by the channel. This is going to be my recap and review for Growing Up Hip Hop. This is season 6, episode 24. It was a filler. Let's just call it what it was. But let's get into it. Before every episode, I like to talk about, the things that I find, the drama that I find pertaining to the shows that I'm reviewing before. And I like to talk about them before we get into it. This, I would say, kind of isn't drama, but could be kind of associated with drama, mainly because of who gave the interview. So y'all know the streets, IG, Twitter, YouTube has all been buzzing about Miss Tasha K and her case with Cardi B and all that stuff. Well, she did an interview with Briana. It's actually on her channel now, and I watched part of it. Well, not part. I watched the whole thing while I was getting ready to do this video. And if you just want to watch the interview, because that's the only part I watched, because it's also intertwined with like a gossip video. It starts at the 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 29-second mark. And I'll put that down below if you want to go watch it. But I'm not going to give all the particulars. Mainly, she talked about Mary J. Blige. She talked about Kendu, which is her father. She talked about her life, the people she slept with, Moniece and Lil Fizzle Pop. And she also has talked about a book that she's writing that's coming out and things like that. So I just wanted to talk about the stuff that she said pertaining to love and hip, like I said, love and hip hop, growing up hip hop. So 2 things that I found interesting that I think we'll be able, well, 1 thing we'll be able to see, but no, 3 things that I really found interesting. The first thing, was that fight she had with Egypt. So y'all remember, I think it was in season 5 where she like smacked Briana, like she snuck her, like just straight up, like when Briana wasn't paying attention, they were arguing. Granted, Briana should never, like, you never turn your face away from somebody if you in an argument and you don't know the energy that they're giving. And Egypt smacked her. Well, Briana gave more information where she said that she was taking off her rings, kind of trying to let production know, like, y'all need to get her before I get her. And basically what happened was that when she was looking the other way, Egypt snuck her, and then Briana had on house shoes, because I remember she had, like, she changed into this onesie outfit, and she had on house shoes. She slipped, and when she fell back, security was already behind her, and they grabbed her. So we already knew she couldn't get to her, but basically she tried to, and they wouldn't let her get to her. She was like, she tried to like get to Egypt, but she couldn't get to Egypt. Like she said, she was like breaking stuff, like trying to get to her. And production was smart to hold on to Briana, because Briana is like maybe like 10 years, maybe a decade older than Egypt. And she's way bigger than Egypt. And she probably would have like seriously did some harm to that girl. Granted, Egypt should have never put her hands on her, but production did their job. So then the other part was like, y'all remember when Tasha K did that interview with Sam in Egypt, and how she basically exposed that Sam was cheating on Egypt with a woman that is transgendered, and it was like a big thing. Well, that's going to be on the show. Like, I guess that's going to be a part of the show, which I'm kind of like, dang, y'all really going to put that in the show? The other part was that Tasha K, I guess, alluded or made it, like, she said that the interview was only supposed to be with Egypt. Sam wasn't supposed to be a part of it. So I think that gives credence to everybody feeling like Sam is trying to ride Egypt's wave, even though Egypt's wave is non-existent, in my opinion. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, I wanted to know more about the fight between Egypt and Briana, because I wanted to know what happened afterwards. But I also find it interesting that they're gonna put that on the, like, put the, what's it called, the interviews on the internet, so you can watch the interview. But I'm interested, like, I'm kind of like surprised that they're intertwining that into the season. But then again, what is really Egypt and Sam's storyline other than Sam going to jail possibly? And that's Sam's storyline. That's not really Egypt's storyline, because all of that is it pertains to Sam. But yeah, if you want to check out the interview, check it out. If you don't, You don't have to. I just was curious. So let's get up into this episode. The episode opens up with all the boys. And when I say all the boys, I mean all the boys. Like we finally saw Boogie, because a lot of people been wondering like where Boogie has been. Because, and shoot, we even saw Stevie Jr. Like, because all of these people, like Boogie and Stevie Jr. are still in the promo, like shoot, of advertising the show. So it's kind of like you false advertisement, basically. So it opens up and all the guys are going ATV riding. We see Boogie, Sean, JoJo, Twist, Tyran, Eric, and YDB, which is Old Dirty Bastard's son. And he was on, I think, he was on Growing Up Hip Hop New York, which I think they canceled, but I'm not allegedly canceled. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think they did. I like low-key, y'all, I think they got rid of Atlanta too. Like, I think the only Growing Up Hip Hop is Growing Up Hip Hop, like the regular one, this one, the original one that's based off in LA, because they keep going back to like LA, Atlanta, New York, LA, Atlanta, New York, LA. So I think they got rid of those other two franchises. So they're having a good time. I would love to do that. Like, I've been ATV riding, but it's only been in like neighborhoods. It's never been like on terrain. Like, I would like to do what we saw on Portia shows, them going through the jungle and them and the guys going through the desert. Like, that looked fun. So Twist was stressing me out hitting them donuts, because the instructor told them that like people have come back with broken arms. And I'm like, see, Twist be the one you got to watch. But he was getting it, hitting them circles. Then we saw YDB fell off of his, but like he was okay. They come and everyone's sitting down and they're all talking about the wedding. Like, they're asking Sean, like, is he excited to get married? And Sean's like ready to get married, but he already feels like he's married, because he's like, we have a child together, we live together. Like, all we really need to do is sign the papers and here we go. And Eric and JoJo, who are married, are like, things change. Like, things get challenging, but it's like, it's not horrible. Like, they were like, marriage is not horrible, just things do change. JoJo made a good point to be like, make sure y'all are good before y'all get married, because he said Tanise almost called the wedding off because of a misunderstanding. I was like, it must have been something big for her to be like, I don't want to do this no more. And we ended up finding out that he spent like between $75,000 and $85,000 on their wedding. And he even said, and they were like, oh, so your parents helped? And JoJo was like, no. So I mean, JoJo got coin if he paying that much for a wedding. And then we get to YDB. YDB is weird. There's nothing wrong with him being different. Like the world would be a horrible place if everybody was the same. But he's weird to me. Like, he's just weird to me. And what turned me off is like when men talked about, like he said, only a few people can have your seed. Why do a few people need to have your seed in the first place? Pick somebody that you cherish, love, and adore, and let them have your seed so you can create a family and not create broken children around here. Because YDB has 7 kids. Like, the lady that he's with now is having his 7th child. And it's just, it's weird. And I hate when people use, like, seed talk, because I'm like, sperm is not seed. The woman technically has the seed. Like, we carry the egg, so like you're only needed to fertilize it. And honestly, your seed ain't that important when I can go to the sperm bank, sign a few paperwork, make sure this person meets the requirements I need, and do it and like inseminate myself. So how important are y'all? Like, we the ones that bring the life into the world. Like, it was just weird. He's just weird, y'all. And then they got awkward because they started talking about like father talk. And so we ended up finding, what's also weird to me, y'all, before they got into the father situation, we find out that Eric had been with old girl, you know, his wife, I don't even know the girl name, for 15 years. And then before they got married, and then JoJo had been with Tanise for 10 years. And I was like, that is wild to me. That is wild to me. There is like, I don't want to be with nobody that long unless we are married. And I know some people may feel like, Leah, that's archaic. Like, what? No, to me it's not, because I feel like I'm wasting time. Like, if we're already been together for 10 or 15 years and we're living together, we have children together, we might as well sign on a dotted line and merge these relationships, these businesses together. Like, I'm not about to be and then I hate when people use the comparison of like Oprah and Stedman. None of y'all got Oprah money. Hell, y'all don't got Stedman money. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about, bruh? Like, no. Like, I'm not about to be with you for 10 or 15 years before you decide, like, yeah, let's lock it down. Let's get the... No. So then, they talk about fathers. The Twist talks about his father and how he got locked up and how he found out Lil Wayne was coming to his city. I think he's from Houston. And he auditioned for him, got on stage, and like Lil Wayne and them liked him. They signed him, and he ain't never looked back since. So he appreciates Lil Wayne for that. They also talk about like who's all invited, and Sean and Tyron was like, we don't know. TT's over the guest list. There might be something going on between Boogie and Twist, because when they were asking Boogie like, how come we ain't seen you in a while? He was like, you didn't, and then Eric was like, you didn't even come to Twist's party. Boogie was like, I wasn't invited, and Twist didn't say nothing. So there might be something going on between them. Probably. So the next thing we see is Tiny, who is Sequoia's mom, who used to be an MC, but now she works in basically like artist management, so artist development. We see Sequoia. They're actually at Sequoia's house, I think. And then we see Devin, her cousin, pop in. So basically, they're just having like a rundown or a recap of the situation between Savannah and Sequoia. And Sequoia over it. Sequoia basically, she want blood. Like, she wants to be like, when I see Savannah, it's on site. Like, run up, get done. Like, she's ready to put her hands on Savannah, because she felt like Savannah got one off on her, because she snuck her when she was sitting down. And then Savannah and Creed, basically, it looked like they were trying to jump Sequoia. Like, low-key, they kind of did. So we end up finding out that Tiny has a relationship with Stevie J, and she keeps referring to them as family. So does Stevie J. But I think the issue is that y'all are family. Like, the adults in this situation are families. Y'all have relationships, but y'all didn't do y'all due diligence to merge to make your kids a part of those families, because it doesn't look like Savannah and Sequoia really know each other. And my thing is, like, if they did know each other, I don't think the situation would have went the way it did. Like, they don't know each other, and I just find it weird that they keep trying to act like, oh, but we're family, so we have to rectify this. Y'all are family. Y'all, like, Stevie J and Tiny have a relationship, but their children don't. So I feel like y'all can't keep referring to that. Also, Sequoia's not happy that her mom wants to make amends with Savannah, because her mom is like, she knows Savannah. And Sequoia was like, well, did she reach out to you? And Tiny's like, no, but I didn't reach out to her. So I feel like Tiny's taking the adult and mature approach about this, but Sequoia, the one who got into the fight, she wasn't no parts of it. And I see both sides. I see Dawn trying to make amends. Not Dawn. I see Tiny trying to make amends and wanting things to be smoothed over, because she has such a good relationship with Faith Evans, with Stevie. And also, I think she's also looking for her child's best interest, because who is Sequoia? We didn't even know who Sequoia was until she got on this show. So if she wants longevity in the music industry, you can't be fighting with like people who are associated with Faith Evans. Like, you just can't. Like, forget who Stevie J is. It's Faith Evans. Girl, don't play games with her. So they're going to try to rectify the situation. Then we see Eric, JoJo, and YDB. We get a rundown of everybody's parents' kids. So Rev Run got 6 kids. ODB has 7 kids. Honestly, YDB to me is just a carbon copy of his daddy. Like, he acts like his dad, but I don't know how authentic that is to him, because he weird. I don't know if that's really who he is, or if he feels like this is a way to connect with his daddy. I don't know. Then Easy, he got 11 kids, and we see what them kids is doing in real life right now. Um, then we see Pep and Tyran. Tyran goes to visit Pep at a hotel. I guess they're getting things ready for the tour. It's going to be Salt and Pepper without Spinderella, with In Vogue and New Kids on the Block and somebody named Rick Ashley. Mind you, y'all, when all these people were like hot, like real hot, I wasn't even around during that time. Like they weren't those weren't my bands. Like, you know, like I grew up on like Destiny's Child's, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Like these people ain't my peoples. You know what I mean? My view of Pep is just like I ain't never really liked the lady, and mainly because I do know music by Salt and Pepper. But I grew up getting to know Salt and Pepper through reality TV. So I remember, I don't know, it was a few years ago where what's it called? SWV and Salt and Pepper and Spinderella did a show together. I don't know. I don't think it was like really long ago, but that's where I was heavily introduced to them. And to me, Spinderella was whiny and annoying and like, and she felt invisible to Salt and Pepper, and Salt and Pepper were whiny, annoying, and very dismissive of Spinderella. Either way, the whole group to me was annoying as AF. Like I was just like, I could take or leave all of them. But yeah, this show didn't do, like, Grown Up Hip Hop hasn't done Pep any favors either. So Tyran is talking to her about the wedding. She's fishing for information because honestly, TT has really cut them off. I think after like the sit down the earlier in the season where it was Pep, Egypt, Maureen, and TT, I really think TT like was like, I'm done with y'all. Like, I don't with y'all no more. Especially after she saw the tapes roll back and you got Dawn, which is their aunt, like dogging TT out. And I think that really hurt her. I feel like TT was able to maybe compartmentalize that, like, these issues, I can have these issues with, what's her name, with Pep in Egypt if it's orchestrated around the show, like within the show, but like nobody else in the family should be getting involved. And then Dawn hopping her candy corn headed behind in here, and it just made the situation worse. And you could tell that Dawn felt like Dawn was like dodging responsibility, because we saw Maureen earlier in the season call and Dawn hung up in her face because Dawn didn't want to deal with it, because Dawn knew she looked foul getting on TV dogging her niece out, saying that Sean been out here cheating on TT. But yeah, she looking for information. The wedding's about to happen. The wedding is $150,000. It's gonna happen in Florida, and that's basically what it is. Like, Tyran wants there to be peace. Like, he really wants there to be peace. He doesn't like that. Like, he finds it childish that they haven't come together, have talked. But I was like, what your mom and sister did was trash. Like, granted, I do feel like TT had overstepped her bounds with some of the things with Egypt and Sam's relationship, but what they did to her was trash. So I'm gonna just skip to the situation with where we have TT and Tyran meeting up. So TT and Tyran meet up, and basically TT's like, I'm not reaching out to them no more. We see the cute little baby Leif, but she's telling Tyran, I'm not reaching out to them no more. It is what it is, and what it's gonna be, what it's always gonna be. Like Pep said when she was talking to Tyran, like, the ball is in their court. Like, she did something, but she didn't do nothing. Like, you haven't apologized, you haven't admitted your wrongdoings. And yes, I do think there was some fault on TT, like she did overstep, but ultimately Egypt and Pep is more wrong than TT. So TT's like, I'm not doing nothing else. Like, I'm good with my life being the way it is without them. My son has well over several other aunts and aunties to deal with, and uncles. Like, Egypt and Pep don't have to be a part of his life. It's sad because we know that they had such a strong relationship before the show, before Sam got involved. But this is what happens when you choose a man over your family. That's just what it is. So then we see Devin. It's Devin, Eric, Sequoia, and Lazy Bones in the studio. Y'all, her song is basic AF. I'm a LA baby. It's basic. I'm sorry, Sequoia. I like you, but it's basic. It's basic. It sounds like every other song where people who think they want to be rappers who really don't. And that's my thing. It's weird that everybody wants to rap now. Like, everybody wants to rap. And it's like, do what you're strong at. Like, I thought her song last season was decent. Like her singing R&B, but jumping into rap, I think is stupid because it's so oversaturated. And all the rap girls, minus Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, really, honestly, it's not that many. You got Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and like I love me some Flo Milli. But like, there's not that many people who stand out anymore. Like, Flo Milli sounds different. Rico Nasty sounds different. Even Cardi, Megan, and Nicki sound different. Lotto is good. It's just that like what like Sequoia previewed for us, it sounded like every other thing you hear on TikTok. So I was just kind of like, girl, this ain't it. But we got a little bit more. Lazy Bones wants Sequoia to like dead the situation with Savannah and make peace, which I think is wonderful that he's like, you know, an OG in the game and he's not calling for them to be rowdy or bring violence. But we get more information about that documentary where, like I said, Eazy-E had 11 kids. And Eric is of the mindset that like he doesn't want to do the documentary because he's like, what is this going to prove? Like, our father's been gone for almost a decade or more than a decade. And my sisters want to do this documentary series because they think that he died under false pretenses. Like, it's a conspiracy. But Eric's of the mindset of like, if it was a conspiracy, wouldn't we already feel that way? Like, wouldn't it be more to the, like, wouldn't we have, like, why are people coming out now saying that it was a conspiracy rather than telling us years before, like later, like beforehand, that like my dad died under some like real like shady type of stuff. And I'm kind of with Eric. Like, you're dredging up the past, you're reigniting trauma, and it's not doing anything good because we saw them fighting. Prior to the season even being aired, we saw the sisters fighting back and forth as to like who should be more important or more featured on the documentary series. Or so it seems like there's infighting where the brothers and the sisters can't agree. Like, some people don't want the documentary out and there's other siblings that do. That's why you don't have 11 kids, bruh. 11 kids. So we finally see Stevie J Jr. We see Stevie, Tiny, and Sequoia, and they all meet up. And basically, Stevie J is embarrassed that his daughter out here wilding out. And I didn't like Sequoia's attitude either, because Sequoia was very, like, she was bold. She was bold to sit there and say that, like, when I see your daughter, it's on site, to Stevie J. And it was weird that she was kind of like, she didn't understand why Stevie J was sticking up for his daughter. And it's like, girl, at the end of the day, that's his daughter. Just like you were upset about them bringing up your son, he's going to defend his daughter. He's embarrassed at the fact that his daughter is out here putting hands on people. But I don't think he also about to sit here and let nobody threaten or come at his child. And I think he was also realizing that, like, Sequoia got hands compared to Savannah. Like, Sequoia probably can do damage, and like Sequoia got that song, I'm an LA baby. Sequoia give me that she called her friends to get somebody jumped real quick. So, and we know Savannah is all talk. Like, Savannah will get jumped in a hot minute, probably stomped out if she keep running her mouth. And it's not right, but it's like, it's consequences to your actions, ma'am. You know? So they're having a conversation. One thing I didn't know, Stevie was lying when Stevie said he respects everybody. And he was like, you know, Stevie ain't never respected nobody. The only time I've ever seen Stevie like really respect somebody is Faith Evans. He treated Mimi like shit. He treated Jocelyn like trash. He treated that other Spanish girl, I think her name was like Estelita. Yeah, I think it was Estelita. when he was in it, I think it was Esther, he treated Estelita like trash. So it's like, when have you ever treated anybody with respect? But I did think it was bold AF for Sequoia to be like, your daughter's out of control and I'm not with that. And I'm like, okay, girl, use better words. Like, you're an adult as well. Use better words. Then they asked like Stevie Jr. like, what did your sister say about the fight? And Stevie Jr. was like, she don't talk to me. So it seems like Savannah be in her own little world, and she doesn't feel the need to like step out of it for anybody. But they said they gonna talk to her. And Tiny says she wants to get to a situation where there's no get back. Like, because right now Sequoia's in the mindset of like getting Savannah back, and she doesn't want that, which as a mother I understand. So then at the end of the episode, we see Stevie and Savannah meet up. Savannah is just nasty. Like, Savannah is nasty. Don't get me wrong, your daddy nasty too. Stevie J ain't no better. But Savannah says she hadn't spoken to her dad in 4 or 5 months. Mind you, I'm of the mindset of like, you're an adult. Like, I call my daddy called me. Like, we're not at the age anymore where your parents should constantly be reaching out to you. You have a phone. The phone works both ways. Like, you can call your daddy if you want to talk to him. Now, if he ignores it, that's on him. But like, it's weird. I also find that she is it seems like she's jealous of the fact that like Stevie has gotten with Faith Evans and has a new family, and she was just like, I stay away from that. Then her whole perception of like, if my dad's not talking to me about making money, then what we here for? Savannah has that effed up mentality, that city girl mentality, that is very like detrimental to a lot of simple-minded people. Like, everything shouldn't be about you getting a bag. Like, everything should not be about you getting a bag. That's why people are out here speculating and alleging that like you probably got a PPP loan for your non-existent streetwear business. And again, where is that? You said you came to LA to like start your streetwear line. Like, why haven't you done that? The fact, and I'm gonna put that real simple. I like my cousin's daughter who's like in high school. One of her little friends got a t-shirt line. That's somebody who's like 14 or 15 already selling shirts to his friends. And I'm like, why if a kid who's still living at home with their parents and going to school and is in high school can start a line, you can do it too with a loan that you got from the bank and the resources of being on this show. Like, she's not using it to her advantage. Like, she's not using this show to her advantage. She then lied and said that like she didn't get into a fight, but then when Stevie J was trying to talk to Savannah says, I'm gonna hit you in the face like I punched that girl. So it's like you lied and then you got caught in your own lie. Then Stevie J was like, so are you okay, like physically, mentally, spiritually? And she's like, I'm fine. And it's like, honestly, you can tell that Savannah is just some hurt little girl who does not know how to use her words or her mouth. Like, Stevie J, we can tell Stevie J is not the best parent. Like, he was not the best dad. But at the age that she's at now, it's not an excuse anymore. Like, you have the resources to go to get therapy. There's so many ways to get therapy and help. But it feels like she's a brat. Like, she came off in this whole scene as a brat. She deflected, and then she admitted, like, she, like, outed herself in her own lie, because at the beginning of the scene she was like, I didn't do nothing to her, I didn't hit her. And then at the end of the episode, when her daddy was still like poking and prodding to get more information out of her, she was like, I'm gonna punch you in the face like I did that girl. So it's like, what is it, girl? Like, what is it? But yeah, y'all, that was it. That was all. I'm interested to see what next episode is gonna be about. I need them to pick it up. So yeah, remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.